everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry for the delay in the videos, guys. This past weekend was my 27th birthday, and that's actually what I want to talk to you guys about today. So I'm not gonna do the 27 things I learned at 27. I am going to focus in on the one thing that I've truly learned being an adult. And it's gonna start with a story. So buckle up, grab your popcorn, snacks, drinks. I don't have anything with me today, but normally if I was watching this video, I would have a green tea or something like that. And roll back the tapes because at age 17, so 10 years ago, was when this little seed of a lesson was truly introduced into my life, though I definitely did not pick it up at the time. So at age 17, I was a senior in high school and I was taking AP biology. And in that class, it was the teacher of that class that truly taught me this lesson. And it's really a story about her and how I viewed her. My teacher at the time was teaching us about evolution. And previously, she had worked at a Catholic school and they had told her not to teach the lesson on evolution. And she was saying how that was an experience she had and now she was very grateful to be able to teach about evolution. And I was so fascinated by that. I was just surprised that she would go along with that, being a teacher of science, that she would go along with not being able to teach that lesson, until she also told us that she was Catholic and that she was a very religious woman. And it was so strange to me at the time that you could have this belief that evolution exists while also hold your religious beliefs so strongly, and in that religion it kind of counteracts what we teach in science as evolution, or what is generally taught in science as evolution. And at the time, that made no sense to me. Like, I didn't even comprehend it. And I realize now how much of a black and white thinker I was. I've always been a logical thinker, somebody who really relates to the maths and sciences of the world. And I know that in saying that, I'm also saying that science is not black and white. So I suppose I held more of the logical math beliefs that there's either a right or a wrong answer and that this was wrong. This scenario was wrong. If you want to know a little bit more about me, I also tend to be more of a perfectionist type personality. I want to do everything to the best of my abilities because what else is the point of doing it? I am a person who feels like I just want to always be achieving and moving towards what I believe my potential to be and pushing myself. I really just want to give as much as I can to the world and create as much as I can. But this whole reflection now how I see the world, if she were in my life today and I was sitting in that class again, I would understand how she could hold that. And that is the greatest lesson that I have learned being 27. And this hasn't been now I'm 27, now I've learned this lesson. No, it's been a learning for the past, I would say, ever since that seed was planted in my mind. I listen so much more to people now. I don't just listen to the things they say, also what they don't say. And I listen with the intent of understanding where the person is coming from and really trying to pick up their personal experiences and use some of that information to help me understand where they're coming from. We all have a completely different experience of how we lived our life. Even if somebody looks similar to you, or even if somebody looks different from you, you might think, oh, they look different from me. They definitely don't have the same lived experience. Or, oh, they look the same as me. I'm sure they grew up in the same place as me. They have the same experience. They see the world as I see it. No, being an adult, I think, is realizing that there are so many more layers to life, and it's not just the truth as it's laid out in front of you. We create stories in our mind around the truth and as we see it, based on our experience, based on how we were raised, who taught us, the things that we've read, the environment that we grew up in. And all of this is to say that in my realm and what we talk about on my YouTube channel is in relation to health and longevity and healthy living, and with that comes mental health and mindset. And the reason I want to bring this up is because for me in the past, as a student of naturopathic medicine, as a student who's always wanting to learn more about the body and want to utilize that to better and improve my health and those around me, it's okay if you don't always live out the principles that you speak. It's okay if one day you advise somebody to move more and the next day you find yourself sitting on the couch crying. Like, it's okay if if you let life happen, if things conflict. That's why we need to have these discussions about nuance, especially in science and in health, is because science is constructed in a lab. Oftentimes, the randomized placebo-controlled trials that we look at as the gold standards, those were constructed in a lab with parameters put upon it to limit the variables. And life, truly living life, is about all of the variables, like fully wide open, all interacting. And that's why having these shades of gray about how we live our life and being an adult with things that conflict, and you're trying to make the best decisions that you can, you're trying to live a life authentically. I think that's only going to be more at the surface about how we live with technology increasing in our lives. We have to relearn how to be human, and that there are errors and mistakes and layers in how we live our life. And that's really the lesson that I wanted to share for you guys today. It's not really so much related to health, but related to mindset and what I've lived. And I hope that you guys find this helpful. I would love to hear your continued conversation in the comments below, and please share this with those of you that, those of you in your circle, those who are finding that they're beating themselves up for doing the wrong thing or not feeling like they are always on the path that they want to be on. Share that with them, and hopefully they find some comfort in remembering that we are human. Take care, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.